I bought some physical down here at the end of December when it dropped to this low around in this area. A couple shots of it, and not much, because I got enough physical. I'm getting tired of buying stuff. What I really should have done is no brainer, and I wasn't really thinking. I was thinking a little more along the oil, but I figured this was the lowest for silver right around this area, about 28, 27 something. And I should have bought AGQ. You can see the rise we had. We had a 20% rise in 30 days. And anybody that does understand these markets, they probably were in AGQ, double leveraged silver, and took like a 35 to 38% gain inside of 30 days. Maybe dumped it now. Now I got in there at around 33.50 spot price of silver. The AGQ was around $60, and I'll just hold it for whatever it takes. And I think it's pretty much a no-brainer that silver's going to go up. And one reason that you could see is look at this gold-silver ratio. It's staying pretty flat. It's not doing much. It's not like silver's exploding and gold's. That would get me nervous. Well, maybe it would mean that it's just going to take off more, but we're nowhere near margin rate increases at this time. We're not. The silver-gold ratio is nowhere near low. So I think AGQ is a pretty safe bet, but I didn't go in it hard at all because I don't know if there's going to be some kind of pullback in oil. And looking at some of these markets, like this is the oil, the WTI, and it could be settling down to about 94, around in this range, right back in here. I don't know what it's going to do because the whole thing is, well, let me put it this way. It's semi-technical, but it's also outside events, geopolitical events and things like that. That's what really makes the turn happen. And yeah, everybody looks at the technical information to see possibly where it's going to bounce. And that does become a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, because maybe everybody would be thinking it's going to bounce around 94, around there. That's what it'd be buying, or maybe 95. So, but my thing is how I read the landscape, let me put it this way, is that Iran, they're really talking up a lot of stuff right now. I know they are. And they're talking they're going to withhold oil from the European Union ahead of time. So before they even do the sanctions, which means if they do that, they're going to screw them up. And that's going to raise the price of oil a lot. So beware. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. But what I think is going to happen is I figured Israel's either going to attack before the winter, it's just kind of a no-brainer, or they're going to do it in the spring, if they're going to do it, if they're going to be the first one to attack. I don't think there's going to be an attack by Israel right now. So I think things could settle down, because Iran talks a lot of stuff, but, at the same time, they're getting clobbered. Their currency is getting clobbered. They're getting clobbered. I don't care how much they're talking with the scare talks. They are getting clobbered right now. The sanctions are kind of working somewhat, but I don't think they're going to work good enough where they're going to stop Iran from doing whatever the hell they want. They're pretty hard-headed, so I think eventually Israel is going to get frustrated and attack possibly before the United States does anything and drag them in. I know I saw that on Russia today, but they make it sound like it's going to happen next week. And I think for the short term, my guess is, even though I bought some of the oil back around 96.50, around in that mark, I actually got it right around its low spot here, but that's not great because it can go up. But, if it actually goes up, I'll sell that portion because I don't think nothing's going to happen with oil in the short term. I don't think that explosive move's coming just yet from geopolitical events. So I'm mainly out of it. I cautiously got back into some of it. And I think that the Lindsey Williams predictions, I am definitely not listening to that guy. I mean, he's got some stuff out there, but I could find this information in other places, and he's definitely was so far off the mark that I'm not paying attention to anything that guy says at all. Period. I think if there's an explosive move, it's probably the same type of deal as before. It's going to be insiders going to know what the hell's going on. I think it's going to happen overnight or more likely over a weekend. So you're going to try to jump in on Monday and the price of oil is going to be moved up $30 the barrel already at that time. So you're screwed if you're not in it. So it's kind of a dangerous game to be out of it, but I think it's still too early. That I don't think there's going to be any attack on Iran just yet. I was figuring there might be an attack on Iran before the winter. But once the winter set in, I'm saying no. I think this is a lot of garbage. So I'm waiting around, sitting on some stuff. And, I'm still in the commodities a lot. Copper, oil. Well, I'm in some oil. Silver mainly. Palladium, food, agriculture, Rogers Fund, that type of stuff, some stocks. And if this pulls back, I'm going to buy in around 95 or lower. I'm going to start buying in pieces. So I think, but this is going to be coming about a little later, but I think it's going to be an extremely good play. Now, I'll hold back, and if I see oil go below 90, I'm going to hit UCO. Definitely. Because I think that's a no-brainer. That's double leveraged oil, USC, UCO. But everything's a guess. But you see, when I use my own senses, they work better. They work better. And I listen to other people, but I use I make my own decisions. I'm not bad at this stuff, actually. This again is the silver-gold ratio. Obviously, silver's not taking off too fast right now, even though it had a 20% move, and gold had a 10-11% move for the month. If you extrapolate that out, silver's going to have to do a hell of a lot better than that to get down to the 30-to-1 ratio in any. It's going to take months and months and months, even at that rate, to get down to the 30-to-1 ratio, which I would consider somewhere near that ratio to be the selling point for silver. That's what I would think. And I don't know if they're going to do margin rate increases before that or not. But I'm going to watch, any kind of articles out there about insiders dumping PSOV or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. I think all those guys got pretty much out of it, so that might be a dead deal. So I think as soon as I get a double gain on PSLV, that stuff's gone. This is the euro, and I noticed one thing. This correlation between the euro and silver, like where the euro gets slammed down and silver gets slammed down. I noticed back on January 13th when the euro got slammed down, silver did not get slammed down. It really didn't phase it. So I don't know what the hell that means exactly, but maybe some people are waking up to the fact that silver might be a safe haven. I mean, that's exactly how I think of silver. I think of silver as a safe haven. So, traders think of it as a physical commodity that you use in industry. So when industry's down, the price goes down. But this time when the euro got hit on January 13th, I noticed the silver didn't go down. So possibly now when they're talking about more with this garbage with the Greek debt, maybe you're not going to see such a hit in silver or pullback in commodities as strong as you think. And there is another news story out there. Despite all the global turn down, they expect China to still have a very strong economic engine. So when commodity prices drop a little bit, China is going to buy them up. And they'll buy up more than they need because they'll use them up eventually if the prices are right. So I don't think you're going to see some serious drops in part commodities. I don't think so. I think there might be some little pullback. I mean, actually if I knew everything, I'd be worth more than George Soros, obviously. So again, it's the silver chart, and I think that we're gonna this pattern, I think, is going to continue. I think it's going to continue. I mean, you're looking at a 20% increase, but it's off a ridiculously low of like $27. The price of silver is still way too low. So I think there's going to be a lot more people jumping into it, and they've seen this move, and I think this move is going to still continue. We might not get 20% move in silver this month, but you might get 5 or 7%. And on AGQ, that's going to translate to almost 10%. So that's what I would take, and I would get out of it if that happens. Well, like I said, in the meantime, on this oil also, I think it's going to float down somewhat. And the demand actually isn't there that much, even though they say so many industries are picking up. The demand isn't there that much. And it's going to really take off whenever there's an attack on Iran. And that's really what I got to judge. And I just don't see them attacking Iran right now in the middle of the winter. So that's why I think this is going to settle down a little bit. But I want to move back into it more as if it settles down. If I see this thing go up to about 100, what I bought at that little bit I bought at 96.50, it's gone. It's gone. I could be making the wrong move, but that's how I'm going to play it. I find out that, you know, you're better off playing games in pieces and using a lot of common sense. If you see a really hard move up, like sometimes in a day, you know, if it's a record move up, you might want to, you know, wait for a pullback. And sometimes, you know, like if something moves 11% in a day, it pulls back 3%. If you think that's a good core asset to hold, you know, you should sell part of your gains at that, and when you moved up that high, and, you know, wait for a pullback. You know, in this case, like if it was oil, I mean, usually oil goes up in these ranges of like $10, you know, so usually it'll hit the next range. Oil is very, very technical. So if you're into the technicals, this is the stuff to trade. And I don't know why people, you know, that spout physical silver don't trade this stuff, because this stuff is technical. The technicals work on this stuff pretty good. And if you can predict the geopolitical events, you're doing pretty good. The main thing is, don't listen to Lindsey Williams. And I only did that, and I'm glad I didn't lose money on it. But because I went in about 82 and I sold at 100, but the double leverage eroded, so I came out about even. But I listened to him because he was right in 2008 when every single talking head out there was wrong. So I paid attention to that. And this guy's not giving him good information at all. So I'm going strictly by what I do. And I don't think they're going to attack Iran just yet. So this oil, my guess is it's going to settle down. It's going to settle down. But I'm still in it a little bit. So if I see it go up a few more percentage, it gets near 100, I'm selling it. Because I think the basic trend is it's going to settle down. At one point in time before they attack, it's going to settle down here like 95, 94. That's what I think. That's why I want to get in it.